What do we have here? This is a beautifully crafted, interestingly wabi-sabi, eggnog custard donut. The hallmark of the holidays. When we think eggnog, we always gravitate toward winter and cool and families and getting together, all those happy things that make life worth living. And along for the ride comes this donut. It's homemade. It's handmade. It's made in a home filled with family. You know, you've got kids running underfoot. You've got people talking. Politics being discussed that maybe you wish weren't. Uncle Phil and his special eggnog blend. No, that's not what's in here. However, this smells wonderfully. It is, well, let's just say it smells delicious. And it's interestingly playful. So what we have is this eggnog custard, and it seems very thick. It seems delightfully thick. Like the one side of this donut. This is the thick boy side, and this is our more petite side. But this is an example of wabi-sabi. It's unbalanced, and in its unbalance is the joy of perfection. Actually, if you note, see the way I'm holding it? That little slope side actually gives this the perfect way to hold this delicately. Yes, it does that very nicely. This custard is so ready to go. It's already soaking into the donut. I say that delicately. Soaking maybe is the wrong word. It's really thick, and you can feel the heft on this. I'm not going to hazard a guess to exactly how much, but this is substantial hold. This is a really substantial hold. This is the kind of thing you give this to someone, they pick this up off a plate out of a box, and you know you got something good here. You can just feel it. And it smells good, but more than that, it's the joy of simplicity. There is not an overarching amount of unnecessary here. Custard, cinnamon, gentle dusting of confectioner sugar, and an exquisitely done dough. It is not a brioche, it is a standard yeast dough, but it's a filled yeast dough. Well, the dough is the donut, the filling is optional, but you follow what I'm saying here. The donut itself, though, let's take a look at the backside. Really, this is beautiful. This just isn't a bland. This is elegant. It's interesting. It looks almost like a Martian or a lunar landscape. It's got deep crags, it's got sharp peaks, and it's wonderfully clean and dry. And it smells yeasty. There is no odor of oil or grease. Aside from knowing that it was fried, I maybe wouldn't know that offhand from holding it. Could be a baked donut, but realistically, we know this one is fried. And it's going to be delightful. I hope. We're not there yet. So, the custard has been made of eggnog mixed with a standard custard recipe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was my great-grandmother's. And, well, we can get into that later. She was a fascinating character. But the eggnog in this is a standard custard, eggnog, and it is really thick. It's so thick. Here, see how this is just breaking off right here? You see this? And it's almost rubbery. I can't wait to get into this. What else? Well, our fry ring. Look at the fry ring here. Notice how it's picked up right in here, some of the cinnamon. But more than that, notice how the fry ring wanders. It goes this way, it goes that way. Some places it's nearly obscure. For looking at this, the oil would have been about at this level, right? So as it was frying, it swelled up a little big on this side. It's got lots of interesting angles. So many donuts are simple, just a very fixed shape. This is interesting. This makes me want to get into it. And let's look at the fill port on this donut. Look at that. Look at the size of this. This thing was pierced, popped open, and filled with a delightful custard eggnog. This is going to be delicious. I hope. Mm. 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 Mhm. Mm. Mm. What was I expecting? A custard, eggnog filled donut. What we got was absolutely, two words, a delicious mess. Just a delicious mess. This is not a donut you're going to get out of. You get into it and it shows. It's on the plate, it's on your fingers, it's on you. It's there. And you know why? Because it's so darn good. First of all, the custard is divine. It is to die for. It is flavorful. It's rich. It's got even an eggy feel to it. It is so interesting. But look at the rest of this donut. Look what's inside. So I took a nice sized bite, but wait, here it comes. Look at all that custard. There's just loaded with custard. There's no there's no room for anything else. We've lost a teaspoon of custard there. It doesn't look like we lost anything at all. There's a lot of custard. Really good. And that much custard makes not only for a great donut, it makes for a great experience. This is an experience donut. There are some donuts, think like a tiny little bowl. You can have two or three, and quite frankly, no one would be the wiser. With this, you're on stage. You take this donut, even if you take it to a dark corner, you might as well be lit up with footlights, floodlights, spotlights, and You name it. It's got a lighting crew and they're coming for you because this donut is bringing the attention. Holy shnikes. First of all, every little bit is soaked in custard. I don't like the word soaked. It makes it sound soggy. It makes you think of, this is soaked. And it's good soaked. It's stuck everywhere. It's stuck to the inside, the outside, my fingertips. What I'm imagining is somewhere toward my face. And without too much mess, what we have here is, it smells even somehow better. It is such a warm, nurturing feeling. But this is the kind of feeling, this donut gives you the invocation of working in the kitchen with your mom, maybe your dad, your grandparents, loved ones. And you're making something for the holidays. Now, I made a mess for the holidays, but this also is reminiscent of doing good, neat family stuff in the kitchen for the holidays. And you make a mess of it and you have fun, and half the fun is cleaning up. Some of the best stories I've ever heard from both my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, was listening to the stories that would come out of the woodwork when you're doing all the cleanup. Of course, there's a couple of extra donuts and, there's some nibbles, but it's really those stories that round out this donut and, in a way, fill this donut. It's loaded with happy memories and really that warm embrace that we want, that we remember when we were kids, when we were smaller, when the world wasn't as large. And we really just got up in the morning eager that grandmom's coming today, we're going to make donuts. This is one of those donuts. This is a grandmom's coming today and we're making donuts. So maybe she's going to make 2 dozen, maybe 6 of them make it to the table. The others were casualties of testing. But this donut has good reason to be a mess. 1 ounces of delightful custard inside. 2, a light and airy dough that still, even though I've used the word soak, let's see if I can share what I'm seeing. So I'm going to open this up a little bit. Now, you see the custard here, right? So if I can do this, you guys can see this custard, but notice next to it, see how this donut is still airy and dry? It's, when I say dry, I'm cautious here. We're not saying it's bone dry. We're saying it's not soaked. This dough is holding its own against the custard. It's doing just what it should do, a conveyance vehicle for the flavor. And this donut is doing it. Not only that, what it's conveying is so happy and enriching. It's just a joy. It is a sticky, custard-filled, eggnog-scented holiday joy. This is beautiful, elegant, homey, and comforting. To our loved ones everywhere that we have spent time with, this donut brings those people right back home for the holidays. Take a look. I'd like to show you this. So I've torn this donut, as you just saw. Note where the custard is and look how it sits on the donut, not in the donut. Very important. Custard shouldn't be leaching in. It should be sitting on. And that's what this donut does. Take a look here as we'll just open this up a little. The custard isn't running. There's not extra liquid. It's beautifully done. Now, the level of detail that we're looking at here, most just biting this. But part of the beauty of it is the quality and the care and the craftsman that went into it. And this is so gorgeous. Take a look. Just the custard as it sits on top of the nooks and crannies in the donut. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful. But what else to say? This side is interesting. This side, my bit of mess. The donut looks beautiful. It smells wonderful. And as you can see, it is a full-on two-handed experience. I've made a little bit of a holiday kerfluffle with this, but I've got good reason. It tastes wonderful. It's happy, it's cheery, it's a smile in your hand. Eggnog, custard, donut. And here it is. I know this looks like a custardy catastrophe, but it's really a delight. I'm dying to eat this. This donut's wonderful. I just tore this little more off, and I have to show you guys. The outside, the skin of this donut is so wonderfully done. It isn't sogging. It's just holding the custard even as I apply some good torque. And it's still there. This donut and the plate it's on is my holiday. It's a big, fun, happy mess. So please make your own memories. Enjoy, like, share, subscribe. And above all, have a donut.